It is the appointed time and we have a quorum. I call to order the meeting. Item 1, information paper issued since last meeting. There is none. The next meeting was supposed to be held at the 14th of September. However, there is the policy address. So it will be postponed to the 29th of September to receive briefing by the administration on the policy address. That's 10:45 a.m. on the 29th of September. Item 3, developing the silver economy. We have set aside 1 hour for this item. We will now invite the government officials to come in. So we have a large team from the government this time. The team will be led by Mr. Chuck Wing-hing, Deputy Chief Secretary for Administration. And accompanying him are secretaries and deputy secretaries from other bureaus, including Mr. Algernon Yao, Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development, Ms. Grace Kwok, Deputy Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development, Mr. Joseph Chen, Under-Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, Ms. Lillian Chong, Under-Secretary for Innovation, Technology and Industry. Last but not least, Mr. Ho Kai-ming, Under-Secretary for Labor and Welfare. Welcome. Will the Deputy Chief Secretary for Administration walk us through the paper first? Members may press the button. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. In the 2024 policy address, the Chief Executive announced the establishment of the Working Group on Promoting Silver Economy, led by myself and the Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development. We are the Chairman and the Vice Chairman. Mr. Chuck, please speak right into the microphone. Please turn up his volume. I will start afresh. Chair, members, good afternoon. In the 2024 policy address, the Chief Executive announced the establishment of the Working Group on Promoting Silver Economy, led by myself and the Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development as the Chairman and Vice Chairman. We lead bureaus and departments to propose development plans in 5 areas. They include boosting silver consumption, developing the silver industry, promoting quality assurance of silver products, enhancing silver financial and security arrangements, and unleashing silver productivity. Since the working group's establishment, we have been proactively deliberating proposed recommendations with trade and stakeholders. With our joint efforts over the past year, in different areas, we have developed silver industry chain and services. Now, in May this year, the working group announced 30 measures for promoting silver economy to be implemented by different policy bureaus and in conjunction with multiple organizations. The aim is to boost silver consumption and develop silver products and services, and also enhance the recognition of products by standard setting, protecting silver consumers, and also encouraging the silver population to rejoin the economy. The details of the 30 measures and the progress has been set out in the paper. I'm not going to go into details of these items. The working group will continue to take on board views from the legislative as well as the trade so as to chart a way forward. I and my team will be pleased to listen to members' views and questions. Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Chief Secretary. 10 members have pressed the button to speak. I think I will give each of you 4 minutes. The members are Dr. Chairman Kong, Mr. Luk Chung Hong, Stanley Lee, Andrew Lam, Robert Lee, Chen Siu Hong, Eric Yim, the Vice Chairman, Holden Chow, Perry Yiu, and Ms. Eunice Yong. Professor Chairman Kong. Thank you, Chair. Now, the key to developing silver economy is to pay respect to the elderly. Now, for corporations which hire a certain percentage of elderly employees, will there be additional tax concessions for these corporations so as to encourage them to employ more elderly workers? Now, the three instruments for retirement. Now, what is the onboarding rate? Now, for tax rebates, you can only choose one. Now, in order to encourage elderly people to take out all three retirement instruments, shall we give them tax concessions for all? Now, the government is also implementing the elderly-friendly building design. This is also a great opportunity. The population of elderly people aged above 65 is now 1/5. By 2039, it will grow to 1/3. Retrofitting buildings to meet their needs is a huge business opportunity. So will these standards be applied to public housing projects as well? Now, subsidy is due, for example, installing handrails and anti-slipping floor tiles. Mr. Chuk, I will take the question and then I will defer to my team. Professor Chow mentioned providing more tax incentives for corporations hiring a certain percentage of elderly people. Now, in the paper, we mentioned under the heading Unleashing Silver Workforce. Now, if an employer hires an elderly employee for, say, 12 months, then in each of the 12 months, the employer will receive $5,000 in allowance. So, of course, the more financial incentives, the better. But after all, Hong Kong is a free market economy. We can't set a hard standard for all industries. The situation differs across industries. For retail and catering, the difficulty for hiring elderly employees is different. Now, for the retired three, or the three pieces of instruments for retirement, initially there were 38,000 subscribers. Now, recently, the number of account holders has grown to 43,000 since our establishment. The working group has launched various measures in different areas. As a result, an additional 5,000 people took out at least one of the three retirement instruments. So, of course, there is still room to improve the onboarding rate. Concerning elderly-friendly building design, of course, retrofitting buildings to fit the standard is also a business opportunity. Which government official will supplement on this? We don't have anyone from the Housing Bureau, but I think Professor Chow's view has been heard. Any follow-up question? Next, Mr. Michael Look. Thank you, Chair. Developing silver economy is an important drive. Now, for this, we rely on the consumption power of elderly people. So this relates to retirement protection and savings. Now, for those who are still healthy, they can contribute to our economy by sharing their experience and their labor. Now, I attended a roundtable meeting held by the Labor Bureau, or Labor and the Labor Department. So we shared some discussion on how we can offer award or recognition to corporations hiring elderly employees, or, like Professor Chow suggested, tax concession can be given to them. Now, also, maybe we need to consult the public on legislation against discrimination against age. It seems that the situation of workplace discrimination against the old has exacerbated. And also, since the relaxation of the supplementary labor importation schemes, there are new challenges for elderly workers to get a job. Now, they are not the worst performing group in the labor force, but the unemployment rate for the elderly has increased from 23% from 2% to 3.7% over the past 2 years. Now, according to the small and medium enterprises, they have some misunderstanding about the employment program for the elderly and the middle-aged. They thought that the allowances would be given to the employees. In fact, the allowances or subsidies under the program would be given to the employer for training purposes. It's a kind of wage subsidies. That's unknown to many SME employers. So maybe the government should promote the scheme more, or maybe even change the name to training allowance for employers which hire the elderly and middle-aged. That may be able to encourage more employers to sign up for the scheme and give more employment opportunities to the middle-aged and old. Deputy Chief Secretary, thank you. I will take the first question and then I will invite the Labour and Welfare Bureau to supplement. Now, concerning tax concession for corporations hiring the old, I have covered that point. Age discrimination, on that, maybe I will have to reach out to Mr. Michael Look and the FTU on how to deal with the situation. Now, importation of supplementary labor. Now, the unemployment rate has risen from 2% to 3.7%. The hardest hit sectors are the construction industry and the catering industry. Say, for example, the construction industry, there has been fewer construction projects, and that gave rise to the problem. Now, is supplementary labor scheme the major reason for the increased unemployment rates for elderly people? Well, actually, for elderly people, they are more flexible. They can take up permanent or part-time, full-time or part-time employment. Mr. Ho, thank you. Now, for the employment program, we have received 12,358 applications. So the allowances would be given to the employees every 6 months. We have granted some $94 million in total. Now, we have received 1,689 applications from employers, and we have approved 1,662 cases involving some $8.5 million. Now, for the re-employment allowance pilot scheme and the employment program for the elderly and middle-aged, we will announce any adjustments in the next quarter. Next speaker, Mr. Stanley Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The working group on promoting silver economy has rolled out many measures. I'm grateful for the government for their efforts. I thank the Deputy Chief Secretary for Administration for support of the alliance that I established for silver economy. During the course of our study, we find that more efforts can be put by the government to diversify the products that we offer, apart from Hong Kong MC Retire 3. Some mainland insurance companies has created new products in collaboration with care homes. Quality assurance of silver products. I agree that it's very important. because this is how we promote consumption. And it is said that Hong Kong CAAVQ will be the organization to establish the standard. I wonder if the staff of the Hong Kong Quality Assurance Agency will have the capacity to assess the quality of the products. Will the government engage community organizations to do that? I know that the administration is trying to establish a Care Food GBA standard. But apart from Care Food, I hope that the SAR government will plan ahead to standardize all sorts of products that relate to, for example, mobility, transport, clothes, and so on and so forth. I have a question. For Care Food, it's difficult for us to manufacture it in large quantity in Hong Kong. That's why Care Food has not become as popular. Do we have any facilitation measures? Deputy Chief Secretary, thank you. Let me take the last question first. On the point about Care Food, well, we think that the scheme that we have is in good progress. The Hong Kong CSS and the Chinese Manufacturers Association of Hong Kong will have filed an application for the inclusion of Care Food GBA standards in GBA standards. On mass production of Care Food, since establishment of the working group, over 100 restaurants have offered food that are easy to swallow for elderly patrons. There are a few chain groups that have offered soft meals in accordance with the Care Food GBA standards, and we know that the soft meals have been very popular. I think that this presents business opportunities for the trade. We do indeed have demand for soft meals and food that is easy to swallow. And when there's such a demand, I believe that we will see supply. The Hong Kong QAA is well staffed. Next, Mr. Andrew Lam. Thank you. The paper is quite lengthy. It covers many different aspects of silver economy. The working group has announced many measures. I wonder if we are targeting the local markets or are we going to promote our products elsewhere? Are we establishing these standards for silver products only in Hong Kong, or are we trying to promote our products in the Greater Bay Area? Many aspects been covered by the paper. Do we have any KPIs for the measures that have been mentioned? Do we have any targets? Third, the paper covered silver financial and security arrangements. Financial arrangement and management is very important for silver groups. I'd like to ask about reverse mortgage program and the policy reverse mortgage program. I wonder if the administration is satisfied with the performance of these programs. Do we have enough subscribers for these programs? Should we further promote them? Should we review them with the Hong Kong MC? Well, for the last question, I'd like to ask the Undersecretary for Financial and Services and the Treasury to take it. I will address the other two questions. As to whether we target just the local market or are we trying to promote silver products elsewhere? Well, of course, we are trying to do both. Regarding setting standards for silver products and the promotion of soft meals and elderly-friendly food, we are of the view that they can be promoted among other cities in the Greater Bay Area. If we create this elderly-friendly atmosphere in Hong Kong, then we believe that visitors from the Southeast Asian countries will find Hong Kong more appealing. As to whether we have KPIs for our programs and projects, well, as I said, the projects and programs were mostly implemented by community organizations. Many of them are ongoing. As a result, it's very difficult for us to set a quantitative target. But since the establishment of the working group, as you can see from the paper, we have achieved some great progress. If you read into the measures that we have, you will see that we have made some great progress. Mr. Joseph Chan, please. Thank you. As mentioned by the Deputy Chief Secretary, there are altogether 43,000 subscribers to the Hong Kong MC Retire 3. There are three different programs under Hong Kong MC Retire 3, namely the reverse mortgage program that help owners to release the value of their property. Second is the policy reverse mortgage program that turn the value of the policy into a stable income. And the third one is the Hong Kong MC annuity plan. All these programs and plans are to offer customers a stable income flow. The collaterals could be their own savings, their property, or their insurance policies. People may have different needs, and they can choose the products that suit them under Hong Kong MC Retire 3. We will continue to promote it so that more people will subscribe to the products. We will work with the insurance industry and organizations, including community organizations and the IFEC, to promote a Hong Kong MC Retire 3. Thank you very much. Next, Mr. Robert Lee. Thank you, Madam Chair. We're here to discuss the development of the silver economy. I thank the administration for their presentation. I have some questions. We believe that we all agree that financial management and retirement planning are very important for elderly. The silver products have been very popular. In light of market demand, will the administration roll out more diversified products? Second, many members asked about the Hong Kong MC Retire 3. You see that the Hong Kong MC Annuity Limited has done much promotion. They have filmed short videos, and I know that insurance intermediaries are authorized to refer interested customers to the Annuity Limited for application of the Hong Kong MC Annuity Plan. I know that each product has their own characteristics. Some of them may not be securities product. insurance intermediaries have customers that are either recently retired or about to retire. Will they be able to promote Hong Kong MC Retire 3 to their customers? Third, the IFEC has a very comprehensive website on retirement calculation. They have a calculator on it, but it's, I think, too simple. I think that we should allow people to, say, enter their own data into the platform so that they can calculate how much they get after they retire if they invest in different plans or products. Thank you. Deputy Chief Secretary. I will ask Mr. Chan, Undersecretary for FST, to reply. Thank you for the question. Let me talk about silver debentures. Recently, we just announced that we're going to roll out a new tranche of silver bonds to offer people another investment option. The silver bonds are of different tenors, and we will continue to listen to the views of the community. We will consider issuing bonds of different tenors, having regards to people's views. Second, regarding the Hong Kong MC Retire 3 and how we can engage more financial companies to participate. As you can see from the paper, originally we only have 100 insurance intermediaries taking part in it. We hope to increase it to over 150 within 2025 to further expand the distribution network of the Hong Kong MC annuity plan. As to whether we can leverage on the expertise of financial intermediaries to further promote it, we will look into it. Third, on promotion and education. I don't want to repeat what's said in the paper. In fact, the Insurance Authority the Financial Education Council has filmed many different videos. They have launched different activities and events to promote financial education. On the MPFA website, we offer information on how to manage their balance with the MPF platform. We'll continue to listen to people's views. The investment environment and products change all the time. We will offer up-to-date information to the people. Thank you.
Mr. Chan Xiu-Hong. Thank you, Chair. The Working Group on Developing the Silver Economy, led by the Deputy Chief Secretary, was only established in November last year. Just in May, 30 measures to promote silver economy has been launched. Significant progress has been made, according to the paper. However, silver economy is not just about broadening the application and scope of current technology products and services. Now, the scope is very wide. We need to benefit the elderly population on all aspects of life. The second goal of the working group should be promoting or boosting the local economy with silver consumption. So that should be the perspective that the working group takes. We need quantifiable results. Now, of course, with the 30 measures launched just in May, I don't expect KPIs to be realized so soon. Now, for the way forward, I think we really need to look for synergized development between the silver economy and the overall economy of Hong Kong. The Hong Kong silver market has a limited size. To achieve synergized development, we can't just focus on the local market. We need to collaborate with the advantage industries and stakeholders in the Bay Area. But I don't see a lot of plans in this regard in the paper. So as the next step, for new measures encouraging the industry to develop more products for the elderly, how can we work better with the mainland markets and the stakeholders? Now, my second question is about the silver quality assurance scheme. Now, I'm pleased to see that we have the guideline of care food standard in Hong Kong, and by the end of this year, it will be included in the GBA standard. Now, the paper says that the government will encourage the catering industry to develop more products which meet the care food standards in the GBA. So besides care food, will there be other products meeting the GBA standard? Mr. Chuck, thank you. About the GBA standard, Mr. Chan is correct. The launch of the guideline of care food standard is important. According to our consumer survey, consumption on care food accounts for a major proportion of elderly people's spending, both at home and outside. So we are trying to identify the products and services frequently used by the elderly people, and we will explore setting standards for those products and services. Now, concerning the KPI and the contribution to the real economy, now the government economist has estimated that by year 2024, back in 2024, the consumption made by elderly people was some $340 billion, accounting for 16% of local GDP. Now, by 2034, the consumption will increase to $496 billion. That is a major percentage of the GDP. That's only counting the consumption. By other calculation method, we will also calculate the amount of investments made by the government on the silver market. So besides benefiting elderly people, by developing the silver market and enhancing quality of silver products and services, corporations and employees will also be benefited as well. Now about the GBA standard and collaboration within the GBA, we will encourage the relevant Chamber of Commerce to align with the counterparts. Chair, if I may, by collaboration within the GBA, I meant distinguishing the roles or distinctive roles played by Hong Kong and other GBA cities in certain industries, especially how we can utilize our professional services like certification to contribute to the market. Otherwise, we can't compete with the low prices in the GBA. Of course, the elderly population and elderly consumers will be benefited, but it will not benefit our economy much. So in the future, we need to focus on our professional capacity in terms of third-party certification and silver financing. I think the Secretary has heard you. Next, Mr. Yim Kong. Thank you. With such a large presence of the government officials today, we can see how much the government values silver economy. I look forward to next week's policy address. I think there will be a lot of measures on boosting silver economy. Now, some members ask questions about GBA standards and also the quality assurance. Now, for the silver population, the definition is those above the age of 65. And then, according to some definition, it is above the age of 60. So is there a standardized definition for the silver population? Is it those above the age of 65 or those who are still working at the age of 60? And also the total scale of the silver economy is not shown in the paper. What is the size in terms of value of the silver economy? Now, concerning the consumption of the silver population, the silverhead tend to spend money on traditional items but not on I&T products. There are some elderly people who don't even possess a smartphone. They can't afford it, or they are not savvy enough to use them. Now, if they don't have a smartphone, they can't make electronic payments. That would undermine their consumption power. So will the government design a program to help elderly people learn about technologies? I know we have the re-employment scheme, but can we go deep into the community and organize smart community courses for elderly people? Now, for example, earphones which can still be used while elderly people are swimming. So with more training, the elderly people will embrace these technologies. Now, thirdly, I agree with Mr. Chen Xiuhong that we need a coordination mechanism in the GBA. The silver population has time and money, and they are very mobile. So we should share our vision on developing the silver economy with our GBA partners and share the benefits together. Mr. Chuck, thank you. We have discussed where we should draw the line in terms of age of the silver population. Should it be 65 or 60? Now, I think in developing silver economy, age is not that important. To maximize the benefit, we will aim at all these people. Now, there are many government programs with age restriction on different ages. There are different considerations behind each program, so I will not go into detail on how the age limit is drawn. On technology training, are there programs training elderly people to use technology in the community? Actually, there are. The Digital Policy Office does organize community programs to train elderly people to use technology. But I will bring the message back and suggest to the Digital Policy Office to organize courses to teach the elderly people to use, say, robots or other devices. Mr. Holden Chow, Thank you, Chair. I fully agree that in developing the silver economy, we need to equip the elderly people with skills to use smart technology devices like smartphones. Earlier on, when the government launched online application portal for booking a dental clinic session, at the initial stage, we had to show the elderly people how to make an online booking. Otherwise, they wouldn't understand the process. So I think the government should take on board Mr. Eric Yim's suggestion. Actually, many government departments can offer help. Even the care teams can offer help to elderly people in technology. Now, besides contributing directly to the economy by spending money, more importantly, the elderly people can discover their wealth or value when they are engaged in the economy. When they are more engaged with community activities and the economy, they will be more healthy mentally and physically. So I applaud the government for formulating this blueprint for developing the silver economy. But I want to remind the government, developing the silver economy is also beneficial to the mental health of elderly people. When they are up and about and visiting shopping malls, the mental health would be improved. Now, healthcare is a major cost, so I think the government should also spread this message. And reply from Mr. Chek. I fully agree with Mr. Holden Chow that during the process of consumption or being engaged with activities, elderly people would have a more positive image of themselves, and it would be beneficial for their mental health. In fact, the LCSD has organized more free activities in park or sports centers. There are also more elderly-friendly exercise equipment. So I think Mr. Holden Chow and Mr. Eric Yim's suggestions were both worth following up. Next, Mr. Perry Yu. Thank you, Chair. The SAR government is serious about developing the silver economy. That is evident in the progress made by the working group. Now, the exhibition industry is my concern. So I thank the government for reviving the exhibition industry. A lot of exhibitions have been held to boost silver consumption. For example, the travel exhibition in spring, there are lots of elderly-friendly travel packages. They were very, very welcomed by the elderly people. Now, traveling is very important for elderly people. Many elderly people have the money and time to travel abroad. But what about inbound travel? Can we brand Hong Kong as a premium destination for inbound elderly tourists? Now, Hong Kong is recognized as an elderly-friendly city. So what about branding Hong Kong as a world-renowned elderly tourist-friendly city? I think we have the hardware to do that. Over the past decade, we have achieved much in terms of making our city barrier-free. We have lift towers, forever bridge, and there are lots of elderly-friendly facilities. Wheelchair-bound persons can board the Star Ferry, and there are also a lot of barrier-free access. Now, the Deputy Chief Secretary is also the head of the working group to develop tourism hotspots. So can we develop Hong Kong into a city which is very friendly for elderly tourists?
Deputy Chief Secretary, thank you. As Mr. Yu said, we have integrated much silver elements into our exhibitions. Many of our exhibitions cover geotechnological products. Regarding the Holiday and Travel Expo mentioned by Mr. Yu, we're glad to see that there is an increase of about 20% in terms of turnout from the silver generation. We agree that we should not just turn Hong Kong into a tourist-friendly city, but also silver group friendly. Any follow-up questions? You just rolled out 9 tourist hotspots, including Tai Mo Shan. From the Twisk highway to the Tai Mo Shan viewing deck, will the administration consider introducing green and smart transit systems so that elderly people can reach the viewing deck easily? We will look into it. Thank you. So the administration will look into it. Well, we have to look at the geographical situations. We have to look at how wide the road is at Tai Mo Shan. Thank you. Ms. Yong Haiyan. Madam Chair, I see that the government is actively promoting silver economy on exhibition, INT, catering industry, so on and so forth. However, it seems that there is not a representative study on the consumption behavior of the silver generation. Will the administration conduct a study to look into the consumption patterns and demand of the silver groups? Without such study, it's difficult for us to assess the contribution to Hong Kong's economy by the silver groups. So will the government conduct such a study so that we know more about the demand of the silver generations and what they need? Despite all these measures, there could be misallocation of resources. Second, I'd like to ask about the promotion of financial management and retirement planning. I see that the Hong Kong MC has held over 150 events, representing a year-on-year increase of more than 10%. For the Hong Kong MC events, it was only attended by 300 people. We have over 1.4 million elderly people in Hong Kong. It seems that 300 participants are too few. How do we make sure that the silver groups know about the products that we have for them? Deputy Chief Secretary, please. Well, regarding the second question, I will ask Mr. Chan from the FSTB to answer it. First, the Consumer Council conducted a study on the silver consumers in 2025. In June, the results was announced. The Consumer Council looked into the consumption patterns of the silver groups. It was found that their average spending is about $7,785 per month, not including rent or mortgage payment. They spent the most on catering, and then retail, and then third, entertainment. The per capita spending in the Greater Bay Area is $1,740 per month. We asked the elderly people why they like to travel to other cities in the Greater Bay Area. 85% of the respondents said that they are of the view that the price of the products and service are low, and 56% of them said that the Greater Bay Area offered diversified options of services and products. We will have to conduct another study to look into the preference of the silver grips. What about the second question, Mr. Chan? Thank you. Ms. Yung talked about paragraph 31. This is about the promotion done by the Hong Kong MC on financial education. I think that she was talking about the Start a Wonderful Journey event. Well, the Hong Kong MC has produced a series of videos, and through various channels such as social media, TV, and radio stations, as well as public transport, they have been promoting the Hong Kong MC Retire 3. The Hong Kong MC YouTube has over 15,000 subscribers. They've organized a number of public events, including seminars. They have mobile stations to promote the products that they have. The Hong Kong MC has been working with different organizations such as the IFEC, large organizations, financial companies, and NGOs, as well as service units that serve the elderly. This is how they expand their distribution network. The Hong Kong MC will continue to resort to different means and modes to promote financial education so that elderly people can plan for their retirement. Thank you. Now it's my turn. Just now, the Deputy Chief Secretary explained that there is not a definition for the silver group because different programs and projects target different people. But if you want to promote silver economy, you need to know who your target customers are. It's unclear who you're targeting with your products and services. For the services offered by the LWB from paragraphs 42 to 46, they're not targeting the silver grips. These are just the schemes and programs that you have for the labor force in general. You said that you have a scheme to encourage people aged over 40 to rejoin the employment market, and you said that you also want to train people aged over 50 to 60. Is it the case that there are many people aged over 40 who are unemployed? For people aged between 50 and 60, are their skills outdated? That's why LWB thinks that they need to be retrained. I don't think that these schemes and programs are related to the promotion of silver economy. The LWB is just listing out what they are doing. Why do we have to encourage people over 40 to rejoin the employment market? Are many of them not in the market? Who will take the question? Deputy Chief Secretary. Thank you. Let me answer your first question on the definition of the silver-haired group. Elderly people of different age have different consumption power. They have different ability and capability. For people aged between 50 to 65, they are considered young old. For people aged over 75. They are senior. I understand that different service providers need to set a target before they develop their products. Mr. Ho Kai-ming, the Undersecretary, will address the other questions on retraining. Thank you. Undersecretary, regarding the reemployment allowance pilot scheme, that's to encourage women and middle-aged people to rejoin the market. We target women mostly under the scheme. For people who have been employed for over 6 months, they will receive a subsidy of $10,000. The scheme has been very successful. As to why we have this post-50 and post-60 trainees in workplace re-entry scheme, that's because we see a lower demand for this group in the labor market. We try to encourage employers to hire people post-50 and post-60 to become care workers in child care centers. So the scheme is to encourage women to re-enter the market force. This has nothing to do with silver economy. That's my impression. Madam Chair, let me supplement. Although people aged over 40 are eligible to apply for the reemployment allowance pilot scheme, but actually 1/4 of the participants are over 60 years old. And that's in alignment with our 5th directions under the working group, that is to encourage the silver-haired group to re-enter the labor force. Thank you for your explanation. My apologies. Our meeting is about to end. If there's no objection, I'll extend the meeting by 15 minutes. Mr. Stephen Ho. Thank you, Madam Chair. I thank the government for the efforts in promoting silver economy, and I'd agree with what Ms. Yong said. We need to look into the consumption patterns of silver-haired groups of different ages. I think that the content of this paper is too broad. Say, for example, according to paragraph 31, it is said that Hong Kong MC has rolled out this Hong Kong MC Retire 3 scheme. I wonder how many people have purchased the products. There are many elderly singleton who own a property with no cash flow. Say, for example, if 15% of elderly singleton own a property, you should set a target as to how many percent of the elderly purchase the reverse mortgage plan. Instead of telling us how many people have participated in the events that you offer, you need to let us know who your target group is before we can assess the effectiveness of your programs. Second, some of my friends who visited other countries and the mainland told me that they are targeted in terms of their consumption. They have tour groups on Tai Chi. They have tour groups on dental scaling. But looking at Hong Kong, we don't know who we're targeting. Are we targeting local elderly? Should we attract elderly from other countries to Hong Kong? It seems that we don't have an edge. I think that we can promote elderly medical services or dental services or even cosmetics procedures. In our northern metropolis, can we create such a supply of services? Many people, when they want to go through cosmetic surgery, they may go to the South Korea. I think that in Hong Kong, we can offer the same service. So that elderly people from other countries come to Hong Kong with a specific purpose. I think that this is how we can promote our city further. As the ITIB is here, well, it seems that our certification capabilities is lacking. And that's why we are just introducing geotechnological products from other countries or from the mainland. I think that if we can offer more geotechnological products of a lower price, then we can boost our local consumption market. Thank you.
好，司長。
主席，我
Deputy Secretary. Chair, I will take the first question and then I will let my team answer the remaining ones. In terms of setting targets, the example mentioned by Mr. Stephen Ho, that's actually a good idea. About the retired 3. Now, when we started this working group, there were only 38,000 subscribers. Recently, the number has increased to 45,000. So you can see that a much higher percentage of elderly people has signed up for the retired 3. Now, we have a large silver population, and not every one of them can afford the retired 3. But we can set some realistic targets. 10% may be too high a target. That would translate into 200,000 subscribers. That would not be realistic. Now, about cosmetic procedures and also our healthcare services. Hong Kong is renowned for our quality healthcare services. There are many well-off patients choosing our services. But we will consider whether we can expand our range of products and services. In terms of certification of geotechnology products, I will defer to Ms. Lillian Zhong. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Ho. Mr. Stephen Ho raised a valid point, how we can commercialize our geotechnology products. I agree that in terms of standard, we shouldn't discriminate against the geographical origins of the products. As long as they are quality products, we should promote them. The Productivity Council has launched a service recently to help suppliers of geotechnology products, whether they are from Hong Kong or overseas and the mainland. We match them up with user organizations like care homes. Our services include testing, certification, and standard setting. We want to promote the use of these products in our setting. We will deepen our work on this. Next, Mr. Brave Chen. Thank you, Chen. Thank you, government officials. I like this report very much. The CDD, the LWB, and the ITIB have worked together to develop the silver economy. And many elderly people in my constituency told me that they welcome these measures. Now, within the silver population, there are young, old, middle-aged, old, and old. Now, you can see that the U.S. President Donald Trump's hair has turned white recently. Now, I see many government officials belong to the Silver Age. Now, maybe Mr. Perry Yeo is not an old person, but his hair is white, so it means he is wise. So I suggest we formulate strategic measures to tap into the high quality productivity of silver population. Now, in my household, the fact is the young ones and the elderly in my household are more tech savvy than those in the working ages. So as long as elderly people are vital and robust enough, they should be included in our economy to realize their productivity. Now, there will be some 2.67 million people by year 2034. I think all of us here will become silver-haired by then. So we really need measures to promote the productivity of the silver population and also enlarge the scale of the silver economy. I think we need to have a report on the growth of the silver economy each year, especially when it comes to I&T. All the Nobel Prize laureates are silver-haired. Some of them don't even have hair. So strategically speaking, how can we enhance the investment in the silver economy? And also we need a yearly report to showcase our achievements. Mr. Chuck, on the final question, according to the government economist estimation, by 2020, in 2024, the consumption power of those above the age of 60 was $342 billion. Now, let's say if there is a year-on-year increase of 5%, that would be some $400 billion. 10%, that would be even more. So no one can say for sure the exact amount of economic benefit the silver economy brought to us. In my opinion, I am confident that we can achieve a year-on-year increase of silver economy by 5%. Now, concerning how we can benefit the silver population more with our policy measures, for example, as I've mentioned, the LCSD, even though it is not part of the working group, it has aligned with the government's strategy to offer more elderly-friendly facilities in their venues. Thank you. Now, for the interest of time, Mr. Michael Tian will be the last one to speak. Thank you. Now, the government has been doing a lot to teach the soon-to-be retired to plan ahead for retirement. That is helpful for the young people. But for those who are going to be retired very soon, that may be too late. So in terms of helping the post-60s to be reemployed, I'm very concerned. Now, there will be 60 job fairs targeting the silver population this year, a 100% increase compared with last year. So far, 42 job fairs have been held. Then I think you would have some statistics. How many elderly people have been offered a job through these job fairs? Now, let's say last year you held 30 job fairs. So how is your work compared with last year? And also with the reemployment allowance pilot scheme, the government encourages persons aged 40 or above to rejoin the employment market. So after the end of the subsidy period, how many employees would leave their post because of the cessation of subsidy? How many employers would continue to keep the employees on the job? So with these figures, I would know the KPIs of your initiatives. and we can decide whether we should expand the scale of these programs. Mr. Chuck, thank you. Maybe Mr. Ho Kai Ming has the figures. Undersecretary, thank you, Chair. I don't have the figures right now, but we have the enrollment figures for the employment program for the elderly and middle-aged. Now, in 2022, there were some 2,707 cases combining both male and female. This year, by August, we have some 3,013 cases. So overall speaking, more employers have applied for the EPEM. But as I said, some $8.95 million have been granted under the EPEM. The other program, the Reemployment Allowance Pilot Scheme, $96.4 million have been granted directly to employees themselves. So the enrollment, the reception of both programs are different. In one program, the subsidy is given directly to the employees, so that is much more popular with employees. Now, the LWB is reviewing the popularity of both schemes so as to coordinate the schemes better and enhance the employment prospects for the middle-aged and the old-aged. Chair, I don't think anyone would reject free money. So, of course, it is popular if you give money to employers and employees. The problem is what happens after the subsidy period ends. If people and employers just apply for the money, it is meaningless. That's my concern when I was the chair of the Employee Retraining Board. Do you have the figures right now? Chair, I will provide the figures after the meeting. Thank you. That concludes the meeting today. Thank you, Deputy Chief Secretary and Mr. Elton Yao and other Deputy Secretaries and Undersecretaries. There is no AOB. I remind members the next meeting will be held on the 29th of September, 10:45 a.m. Thank you.